is 5 minutes and counting.
There's been another mass shooting in America. This time in a...
Breaking news this morning, a powerful earthquake has hit central Italy, close to the same location as that massive quake back in August. Now, damage reports are coming in right now. We're getting word of cathedrals collapsing, and ABC's Jennifer Eccleston joins us from our London bureau with more. Hi, Jennifer.
Paula, good morning. Another terrifying event for central Italy. This is the same area that was hit Wednesday with back-to-back earthquakes. This morning, just after 7 a.m., it was a powerful 6.6 magnitude, and it was centered outside of the historic town of Norcia in Umbria. People were sent running into the street as clouds of dust and stones from falling buildings filled alleyways and roads. Emergency crews on the scene in minutes, rescuing the elderly and some of the town's clergy. Norcia is home to a community of American monks. They've tweeted that they're all okay, but their 14th century basilica is destroyed. Italian emergency services say there are some injuries, but no reports of deaths so far, but they're still assessing. Emergency crews have a huge presence across the region after that deadly August earthquake in nearby Amatrice, which killed nearly 300 people. And because of that huge quake, thousands have evacuated the area. Those that remain know when they start to feel shaky, get outside, and that saves lives.
A booklet with guidelines on how to be prepared for a possible Russian invasion has been published by the Lithuanian Defense Ministry. The booklet includes practical advice, but also images of Russian tanks and weapons for civilians to recognize, and will be distributed widely. Lithuania shares a border with the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad.
The FBI now has a search warrant to review whether newly discovered emails passed through Hillary Clinton's private servers. The messages were found on a laptop used by former Congressman Anthony Weiner. He is the estranged husband of longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin.
Former Attorney General Eric Holder and nearly 100 other ex-federal prosecutors and officials have signed a letter criticizing FBI Director James Comey. Holder writes in the Washington Post that Comey made a serious error and says it is up to the director to correct his mistake, not for the sake of a political candidate or campaign, but in order to protect our system of justice and best serve the American people. In July, Comey recommended no criminal charges against Clinton for her use of private email servers while she was Secretary of State. Jeff Pegues is outside FBI headquarters in Washington. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning. Law enforcement sources say the FBI is trying to get the technology infrastructure in place to sort through these thousands of new emails that they want to review. We're told that the emails were discovered earlier this month, but FBI Director James Comey says he didn't find out about them until last Thursday.
Step back. Step back.
CBS News has learned that FBI Director James Comey has been calling members of Congress who've demanded that he release more information about the review of the new emails. Comey is under fire for making the disclosure 11 days before the election.
How are the voters, how is the public supposed to respond to this? And there's simply no way for the public to make an informed judgment.
Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff says Friday's announcement broke agency protocol.
This violates the Department of Justice policy against speaking about open or closed investigations, but also the DOJ policy against speaking about an investigation this close to an election.
In a letter addressed to the FBI director Sunday, Democratic Senator Harry Reid accused Comey of partisan actions and alleged that he may have broken the law by violating the Hatch Act. It bans most federal and some other government employees from participating in political activities that could help or hurt a partisan group or candidate in a partisan election. Investigators seized the laptop belonging to longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin and estranged husband Anthony Weiner during a separate probe into Weiner's alleged communication with an underage girl. Against the guidance of Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Comey sent a vaguely worded letter to Congress Friday saying that he didn't know whether or not this material may be significant. CBS News has learned the FBI deliberated over whether to disclose the information. Officials debated whether they'd be accused of trying to manipulate the election by hiding the renewed investigation if criminal evidence was found. A person familiar with the process says officials ultimately concluded that the letter was the most credible approach after Comey pledged to inform Congress if anything new came up related to the investigation into Clinton's use of the private email server.
We would certainly look at any new and substantial information.
We commend the FBI and the director on their decision to keep their word.
Over the weekend, vice presidential candidate Mike Pence praised Comey's decision.
What the decision this week showed is even 11 days before an election, no one is above the law.
Law enforcement sources say that Abbott is cooperating and seems surprised that the emails were on the laptop. Gail?
Tensions flare between migrants and police at a makeshift camp in Paris. Officers moved in to clear tents from pavements where hundreds of migrants have gathered. Makeshift camps have sprung up since the demolition began of the migrant camp at Calais.
This morning police is coming, all people are thinking tomorrow morning police is coming, give house, give this maybe giving into camp. Where is he sleeping, these people? Here is very cold. This is not life. This is in the animal life.
This charity worker says what's happening is the result of a management policy that consists of police raids. They form a circle around the migrants and sort people on the basis of their administrative situation. Sometimes it's racial profiling, he says. The destruction of one of Europe's largest migrant camps is coming to an end, but the plight of hundreds of minors remains uncertain. Some reports say about 1,500 young people are living in temporary lodgings in container boxes.
On Monday, Mississippi's governor asked a federal appeals court to uphold a state law letting merchants and government employees cite religious beliefs to deny services to same-sex couples. HB 1523, which was signed this year by Republican Governor Phil Bryant, seeks to protect three beliefs. Marriage is only between a man and a woman, sex should only take place in such a marriage, and a person's gender is determined at birth and cannot be altered. U.S. District Judge Carlton Reeves previously blocked the law before it was able to take effect back on July 1st, saying that it unconstitutionally creates unequal treatment for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people.
New details off the top at noon about last night's bomb threat scare at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport.
Passengers on board a Spirit Airlines flight were forced to evacuate.
CBS 4's Silva Harapetian is live at FLL to fill us in. Silva.
Good afternoon. You know, at first there were thought that there was only 2 people involved, but since then, Broward County Sheriff's Department has clarified that there was only 1 person apparently involved, that person being questioned by FBI. No arrests have been made, but we're happy to report that that plane finally made a landing at Dallas International Airport at about 5:30 this morning. It was supposed to take off at 8 o'clock last night, didn't take off until 2 o'clock in the morning. Some tense moments on that plane, but on that plane also passengers captured some of what happened on Facebook Live video. Take a look. panic on Spirit Airline Flight 971 while a passenger secretly does Facebook Live videos.
Gentlemen from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We have a security issue right now.
The issue, this passenger explains, involved a few passengers sitting 3 rows from her.
He leaned over and looked and saw that they sent text messages saying your bombs are complete. And he stood up and started screaming about a flight attendant, there's a bomb on the plane. So flight attendant, there's a bomb. They took their phones away. The 2 men said, go ahead, open my phone, and everyone started screaming, don't open the phone, because they think the phone is going to set off the bomb.
As authorities were notified, passengers waited anxiously for 2 hours. They sat on a plane, along with the person suspected of sending the threat.
The people next to me in their Cowboys jerseys have already said they're going to jump them.
After several hours, Broward Sheriff's Department boarded the plane and escorted the men off the plane and then the passengers. And back here live, again, this took some time. Obviously, passengers were upset and tired, hungry and thirsty and wanted answers. But fortunately, no one hurt, no one injured. And again, the man in question has not been arrested, but is being questioned by authorities. We're live. Silva Harapeti on CBS 4 News.
The post has finally been filled after more than 2 years without a head of state. Ex-army commander Michel Aoun has been elected as the new president of Lebanon. The 81-year-old won a vote in parliament after a long period of political deadlock, with the presidency vacant for 29 months. Reports say a deal is expected to see the Sunni Muslim leader Saad al-Hariri named as prime minister. Results of the vote announced on national television say Aoun won 83 votes among MPs, well above the majority needed. Lebanon has a sectarian power-sharing system, and the post of president is set aside for a Maronite Christian.
Minus 5 minutes and counting.
There's been another mass shooting in America. This time in a